You can buy this book. It's link in my description if you want this book. I'm going to show you the purple. Tyrian purple is a legendary oil made from sea snails. It was royal and also medicinal, chemical, and sacred. It could heal wounds, dye robes, even cause visions. The women who healed it were priestesses, chemists, oracles. The purple splatter emoji is not just slime. It visually resembles the staining sticky murex oil, which is why it also pops up if you type in stain on an iPhone. Even mess. The color purple still symbolizes wealth and royalty, intellectual and scientific power, alchemical transformation, mystery, magic, and the sacred feminine. There is an apocryphal account in the Proto-Evangelium of James that describes Mary's servant, a midwife named Salome, who examines Mary to confirm her virginity after the birth of Jesus. She tests the Virgin Mary's virginity by putting her finger into Mary's genitalia. This act causes Salome's hand to be burned, but they are quickly healed when she holds the Christ child in her arms. So, the purple fingers burn to the touch. Tyrian purple was produced from Mediterranean mollusks near the city of Tyre. It was extracted by squeezing murex sea snails, a laborious, brutal, toxic, and smelly process that was extraordinarily inefficient. It smelled awful, but the dye was chemically alive. The real magic wasn't just in the dye, it was in what they mixed it with. Oils, resins, and animal parts and venoms, healing potions, ritual sedatives. This wasn't decoration, it was domination. That dye drove empires, religion, even early democracy. Over 9,000 snails were needed to make just 1 gram of dye. In the Proto-Evangelium of James, also the Proto-Evangelium or Gospel of James, an early 2nd century apocryphal infancy narrative not included in the canonical New Testament, after Mary's miraculous conception and birth, a midwife comes to her and is told by Anna, Mary's mother, that she has given birth to a daughter. A second midwife named Salome is sent to examine Mary to confirm that she is still a virgin after her miraculous conception. The story describes Salome performing gynecological inspection, a detail that echoes the Gospel of John's account of Thomas touching Christ's wounds in John 20:25. The examination is presented as a way to prove Mary's virginity, and the midwife's findings are supposed to support the belief that Mary was preserved from the effects of original sin and thus aligning with the later doctrine of the Immaculate Conception. According to the text, after the birth of Jesus, an unnamed midwife leaves the cave where Mary is. She meets Salome, another woman, and tells her that a virgin has given birth, a claim Salome finds hard to believe. Salome insists on testing the claim, so the midwife enters Mary's room and positions herself to examine her. Mary, apparently without objection, allows the examination. As Salome attempts to probe Mary, her hand is suddenly consumed by fire. She cries out, "Woe unto mine iniquity and mine unbelief, because I have tempted the living God. And lo, my hand falleth away from me in the fire." The text describes her hand being consumed or falling away in flames, a vivid image of divine punishment for her skepticism. An angel appears and tells Salome to bring her hand near the infant Jesus. Upon touching him, her hand is restored and she is given salvation and joy. The moment is often interpreted as a miraculous affirmation of Mary's virginity. So what does her hand burning have to do with any of this? It's the burning purple. Mary had the purple in her colpos. So, listen to this. Medea, a Colchian queen from the eastern shores of the Black Sea in a region known as to the Greeks as Colchis, a modern-day Georgia. Long before the epics of Achilles, there were stories of Medea, a figure who mastered the use of venoms with the practice of medicine itself. She understood how these substances interacted with the body and how they could alter natural processes, even the menstrual cycle. Medea perfected the mystery rite, becoming the first and original Christ, the Enchristed one. She knew how to die and return to life. When she arrived in Italy, there is an account of a man bitten in a marsh by local snakes, thought to be beyond saving. Medea reached within her undergarment to draw a curative from her colpos. She reached under her garment to get a substance from her womb, her bodily sexual vaginal fluids, where she kept mixtures of herbs, venoms, and medicines. Some accounts even describe her covering small snakes with oil and letting them crawl in her womb, a sacred space of healing alchemy. So there you go. She literally heals a man. See, Jesus does this. You guys don't understand. Look, Jesus does it. Watch this. He can heal you with his body fluids. Watch this, watch this, watch this, watch this, watch this. Look at Jesus. Where's Jesus? Right here. John 9:6. When he had thus spoken, he spat on the ground and made clay out of spittle, and he anointed the eyes of the blind man with clay. And then he was able to see again. So Jesus used his saliva to heal a man's eyes. The salvation is in the saliva. Saliva, salvation. Medea cures a man by giving him her body fluids from her womb. She reaches under her underwear and gets her wet fingers, and then Christ's you, and then you're healed. It's the water of life.